Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Here is a brief video of Group 4. I'm Martin Hall, who is host today. Our group members are Wu Tong, Ma Li, Xu Zhiyong, and Chao Mingzhu. Our topic is a forgotten lonely island. Next, my team members and I will introduce our thing to you. The first one is introduction of the empty nest. Empty nest elderly refers to the elderly who have no children to take care of, live alone or live with both husband and wife. The trend of more and more empty nesters. Many countries, including China, are experiencing population aging. Here is a picture of China's population age. Therefore, the empty nest problem is being more and more serious. And next is consequences of the empty nest. The elderly are more lonely, more prone to depression and increased social anxiety. So the next part is question and answer. And the first question is, why do you think the phenomenon of empty nesters has emerged?
I think that due to the difference in ideology between the elderly and their children, in order to avoid conflicts with their children on the issue of generation gap, the elderly choose to live alone and pursue their own free life.
I think some elderly people have developed a strong attachment to their current living environment and are reluctant to leave.
That due to today's competitive society and the pairing of employment, children to choose to work outside and study abroad to improve themselves in order to seek better opportunities. As a result, empty nesters has been created.
I think some elderly people know that their children's work is not easy and prepare to live on their own to ease their children's burden.
Alright, so the second question is, what families do you think are more likely to have empty nesters?
I think rural families are more likely to have empty nesters because the income in rural areas is very low, and now that society is developing very fast, prices and housing prices are rising rapidly. I think the income in rural areas no longer supports the current consumption level in this era.
Actually, it's the rural elderly who have a lot of land because they may not be able to part with so much of his land.
In my opinion, the single-parent family are more likely to have empty nesters. Because one person is still too much pressure compared to two people to raise the elderly.
I think the old man children are girls. The chance of their own empty nest is much higher than that of boys. Because of customary issues, women generally go to the men's family.
Okay, so question three is, so you guys don't want to live with your parents after you get married?
I don't really want to live with my own parents because I think they ask too much of me.
They would always impose their ideas on me and would make me do what they would write. I was old enough not to be educated anymore.
For myself, I would like to live with my parents, but I think if I have a husband, maybe he will identify mind. It would make us lose our own personal space.
Can you imagine me still having to be home by 10 p.m. every night as an adult? I would must be in a bad mood if I still live with them after I got married.
Okay, so question four is, do you think there will be a conflict between not living with your parents and leaving them empty nesters in the future? Or will there be a peace and perfect relationship?
I don't think the two are essentially related. I'm not being with my parents won't hold me back from taking care of them in the future.
I will take the initiative to take care of them when they are old. Now, the parent can give me and them more space, less conflict.
I think there have some impact, maybe, because if you are separated for a long time with your parent, even if you do not feel it, but actually the parents are indeed empty nest.
I don't think it matters because people missing each other when they don't see each other for a long time. I don't think not living with your parents will leave them with an empty nest instead.
Okay, so the last question is, if you grow old, would you prefer to have your children take care of you or live alone in your home for the elderly?
I don't intend to disturb my children's lives when it's not necessary, even if I'm left on my own in the future. I do not want to choose child care and nursing homes. I can take care of myself alone and definitely not bother the children.
I'm an independent person and I don't like to live in a confined environment. I don't feel comfortable living with my children. So even when I grow old, I don't plan to live with them, but choose to live in a nursing home.
In my opinion, I can accept all of them, and I would like to experience them if I can, such as going to a nursing home in the winter and live with my children in spring and summer, so that I can experience a different life without affecting the relationship between my family.
When you are old enough to live with your children and enjoy the joy of family life, it is a very happy thing. But living with your children, you must be a wise old man and not get involved in the affairs of your children and grandchildren.
So the next part is the solution. Each of us put forward an answer from a different angle. Now, please state your opinion.
From the perspective of the elderly themselves, the elderly strengthen their psychological adjustment. With the increase of age, the elderly are bound to face the later life. In the later life, the elderly should first actively adapt to the later life, adjust their empty nest psychology, actively change their social role, eliminate the conflict between roles, actively play the remaining energy, do what they can and reasonably arrange their lives.
From the perspective of the community, improve the mechanism of community elderly care. The community is the living and activity place of the elderly and an important means to serve the elderly. First of all, we should strengthen the guidance and the supervision of the community, improve the community elderly care mechanism, further improve the community elderly service facilities, and increase the community elderly care.
From the perspective of young people should balance the relationship between the family and work. The aging of parents make their physical action inconvenient, and the disconnection from society also make them closed-minded and reluctant to leave their hometown. Therefore, they need the company of their children. Considering their work relationship, it is recommended to return home and accompany their parents every holiday.
From the perspective of the government, we should improve the pension policy. When a large number of elderly people are left unattended has become a social problem. The government needs to adopt policies to encourage young people to balance work and family. Companies should also give consideration to humanization so that employees can work and take care of their families more at ease.
Okay, thanks for sharing. So now please allow me to summarize our topic today. Social aging has become a serious problem. Over time, more and more elderly people will have emptiness. Therefore, we provide more solutions for caring for the elderly from the perspective of our associated identities. In a word, only by paying more attention to problems can we change this situation effectively. Starting from you and me and being a failure critic. Thanks for listening. That's all for our presentation.